Welcome to Fifth Recovery. This is part 2 of 10 Things. I'm recording this on the 26th. Should be posted on April 1st, which is actually my anniversary of quitting smoking. I quit smoking April 1st, 2003. I'm a little frustrated right now because I just did this whole fucking thing, and when I went to transfer it out of the photo booth, I transferred it out of the photo booth and I hit delete instead, and I can't find it. It's not in trash. And it's one of the reasons I have a problem keeping on with podcasts, because I'm not technologically savvy, and I get very frustrated when shit like this happens. So I'm redoing my whole podcast and reliving everything that I just did. And what I just did is not an easy thing to do. Anyway, let's start off with my 5 things from December 10th, 2001. I'm thankful for pillows, pizza, leather, my Happy Face bong, and my mother. I miss my mom, no doubt. Okay, so I'm going to go through the full 10 things. I didn't have the full list written last time, so I'm going to read through the whole list of 10 best things and 10 worst things that have happened to me, which was my homework from my therapist. I covered some of the best things on the last one, but these are in chronological order, so I'm going to go through it, all the best and then all the worst. First thing on my best list is at 19, and I found that interesting. I discussed that today with my therapist, was that I found it interesting that I could not come with any of the best things that have happened to me that happened before I was 19. Like, everything before 19. I won't say everything, but a lot of things before I was 19. It just seemed like darkness. Of course, I had my name changed at 19, and I became a new person. And literally, that old person, I have problems. I'm not to say I didn't have fun. I had some good times, but I don't remember great things happening before I was 19. So the best thing that happened to me is that I got married on a billboard. It's for me, it's legendary. Everybody that knows me kind of knows it. It was the introduction. It was my becoming Jay Tombstone. Literally, I had my name changed in August. That wedding happened in November. So, it monumental moment. At 22, I met my friend Venus, my sister. I call her my sister Venus, with my mom and dad and my other sister gone. Venus really feels like the closest family to me. She was very close to my mom. She lived with me and my mom for a while. And so she feels like family more than any of my biological family does. I love her. I haven't seen her in a while, and it bothers me, and she needs to come visit. I need to go visit her or something. But yeah, meeting Venus. And there was the meeting Venus, and then there was seeing Venus as a performer first, and then that was one occasion, and then later I met her. And then when I met her, she moved in with me and my mom. Then when I was 23 was the 1993 March on Washington, and I didn't start my clock. Oh yeah, no, yeah. Anyway, anyway, I'm going to put 13 since I've been talking. Oh, there you go. Before 1993, when I went to March on Washington, I got harassed a lot for being gay, of course, in school, but also just on the street, in the mall, in the grocery store. It just seemed to come at me a lot. People just fag, sissy. They just, and I was of a point back then that I just kind of helped, just put my head down. I just kind of felt I deserved it, and I thought, if I didn't want to be, if I didn't want people fucking with me, I needed to stop being a fag. That was kind of my thought process back then. I went to the 1993 March on Washington, and soon after that, I have such a clear memory. Soon after that, I was in the convenience store by my house buying cigarettes, and I was walking out, and I was very, kind of close with the lady behind the counter because I was there all the time buying cigarettes. And as I was walking out, 2 guys were walking in, and one of them said, faggot, or sissy, I don't even remember. But nonetheless, I spun around for the first time in my life. I spun around, and I said, what did you say? And I was like, my name's Jay Tombstone, and yes, I'm a faggot. If you have any problem with it, is there anything else you would like to say to me? And what was funny was that neither of them would even claim it. They were like, I didn't say it, he said it. He didn't say it, I didn't say it, he said it. Yeah, that's pretty funny. At 26, I got that apartment on Ursuline. I moved to New Orleans, and getting that apartment on Ursuline, oh my God, that was a stroke of luck. Um, well, I've joked many times that I got some of the best things in my life because I sucked the right dick, and that I hooked up with a guy, and he was friends with the people who owned it, and that's how it happened. And yeah, that place, I lived there 18 years. I love that place. I still miss that place. That place I paid $350 for rent when I first moved here. That place sold for $750,000. That house was $750,000 for that house when I moved. Um, at 32, my friend liked my poetry enough to start a band. That was the band Marshmallow. I don't talk about it a lot, but when I moved to New Orleans, I wanted to. I wrote poetry, and I wanted to find a place where there were poetry readings. And I went to poetry readings for a long time, just kind of sitting in the corner before I finally got up and read my poetry. And then when I did read my poetry, my friend Jonathan was there, and he's like, he played bass guitar. He's like, oh, how about I play bass guitar to your poetry? So we kind of formed a little band. And after that, Pistol Pete and Pop Gun Paul were a pretty well-known gay folk duo that traveled the country. And while me and Jonathan were starting Marshmallow, Pete moved to New Orleans, and he came to one of our open mics, and he joined the band. And so I actually had a band with me, the lead singer. I had a bass player and a guitar player. And we did probably 5-6 shows, maybe not even that many. I don't remember, but we did a few shows, and I thought, this is it. I'm about to be a fucking rock star. I'm the lead singer of a band now. And I don't really know anything about music, so, surprise, because I've never studied music. I don't understand, really, music theory or anything. But I've got a big voice. I got a big, loud voice. So that was, it was great fun for a while. And it only ended because of Katrina. Hurricane Katrina came along, and Jonathan moved, and Pete moved, and that was the end of my band. Next up is I met my clown partner on a nature trail. I think I've told the story on this little on fifth recovery. I think I've said this, but yeah, I met my partner in a commune in Short Mountain, Tennessee. I was dressed as a clown, thinking I was the wildest thing out in the middle of nature, and up the path comes another clown. And it's sad that our relationship is kind of fucked up now because we had such a good story of like meeting. We had really great meet cute, as they call it now, meet cute. And I don't know. Yeah. All the more reason why when I think about him saying he never really wanted to marry me, it just makes me feel sick to my stomach and like my head spins, and it's just like, what? I thought it was the most, anyway, I thought I was so wrong. Anyway, at 34, Boy George told me I'm beautiful. I saw him in Taboo, the musical Taboo on Broadway. I went to see him. I had an outfit made that the direction was, I want something to look like an evening gown for a clown. So I had this, I've still got, of course, this kind of sequined blue outfit that I wore. And Boy George came out. Boy George wrote this play, and he is in the play, the character Boy George. But Boy George himself plays the character of Lee Bowery, who's an amazing artist. If you don't know about Lee Bowery, look him up. He's amazing. I still, when I'm looking for inspiration, will watch The Legend of Lee Bowery. And Boy George has a little part where he's, as Lee Bowery, kind of bantering with the audience, and he goes, everyone backstage is talking about the clowns in the audience, so stand up so I can see you. And I stood up, and he goes, oh, you're beautiful! My lifelong idol, Boy George. Put me out of the crowd, said, I'm beautiful. I got an email signed VHS from Tammy Faye. That was, she's my idol. And after Katrina, I'd actually ordered a cassette from her, and the check bounced while I was evacuated. And so when I got back, I wrote her an email and apologized, and I was like, I'm sending another check, I'm so sorry. And she replied to my email and was like, don't worry about sending, although I'd already sent it, I think. Did I? Anyway. She said, don't worry about it, but I think I'd already sent the money because I think, anyway. And she was so nice. I wish I still had that email. And of course, I've got a signed VHS copy from her that says James. She says, "Love James," because, that was just the name on the check. I auditioned and got accepted in the National Comedy Company. I mean, that changed my life forever. I was crowned Empress of the New Orleans Radical Fairies. I mean, I wanted that so bad. I didn't expect it to happen that year because the Radical Fairies are like an autocracy. The person who is the Empress chooses the next Empress, and I wanted to be Empress really bad for years, and I finally got it. Thanks to Amy Wilson. I didn't expect her to pick me, but she did. And I made a peace with my dad, the last one, and that I didn't see that coming. I really did not expect we had such a contentious relationship. So I've got, 4 minutes, a little less than 4 minutes. So, anyway, I'm going to run through the 10 worst things that have happened to me, which is the way I want to do it. I don't want to dwell on too much. From 0 to 32, I was a bedwetter into my 30s. I don't like to talk about it. It's still painful. It's still embarrassing. I still feel shame around it, that I was a bedwetter for so long. And I didn't stop wetting the bed until I was diagnosed with depression and got on depression medication. So, clearly my bedwetting has something to do with depression that just went undiagnosed until I was 30-something. In seventh, when I was 7, my second grade classmate died. I've told the story in comedy routines. I've told it many times. As second grade, I was in a Catholic school. This boy named Joshua got sick and went away. And every morning they made an announcement, "Pray for Joshua." And Joshua came back and he was bald. And I made a note that, okay, so Jesus helps you, but he takes something from you because he took Joshua's hair, my thinking. And then Joshua went away again, then pray for Joshua, and then Joshua died. And when Joshua died, the day we got that message, I told my mother that I wanted to go home. I wanted that Jesus doesn't work, and I want to go to a school where I can grow my hair long and wear my own clothes. In third grade, I went to public school. At age 11, I was assaulted by a group of classmates in 6th grade. Truly my most traumatic experience as far as, as far as assault. I was assaulted. A group of boys stripped me down and said they were going to fuck me. And then I started crying. And once they heard me crying, they stopped. And as they left, they're like, "Oh, he's a telltale. He's a crybaby. He's going to tell." And I never told anybody. I didn't tell anybody until my 30s, until I started therapy. At 17, the last 2 years of high school, there was a trend to thump my ears. I don't think I've ever talked about this outside therapy. And it just kind of came up. Trying to think of the worst stuff that had happened to me, this came up. And I had a guy who used to chase. We were in school for a long time together. But in 10th grade, he and I had the same first period and homeroom. So he would follow me from homeroom to first period and kind of thump my ears like this. And it drove me crazy. It's awful. It was like, ah! And what's crazier is that the next year, other people were doing it. Like, I don't know how that happened, but somehow the word got out and other people would come up to me and just thump and then run. It was like, so there's no recourse because by the time you look around, they're like running or, thumping, ear thumping. And 22, I was pushed and kicked in the back. That happened a few times when I was kind of doing the bars downtown Mobile, and people would just come up behind me and push me or kick me so that I fell forward, and then they ran again. It's funny how many times people like to assault me and then run. Where am I? I helped my mom. I didn't help my mom with her bandages. Oh, my mom had breast cancer. I helped her. She had a post-surgery hematoma that left an open, gaping, oozing wound in her chest that we had to pack with gauze and bandage up every day. It was awful. And there was one day that she was crying in the hall, changing her bandages, and I just couldn't do it. And I regret that moment still. It's like my lowest moment. I laid on bed and pretended to sleep while my mother cried, changing her bandages. It's my lowest moment. Lowest. In recovery, they ask you to come up with your rock bottom, and that's it for me. And that had nothing to do with drugs or alcohol. It just not helping my mother, just not being strong enough to get up and deal with it. It was gross and it was traumatic, and I kept calling the doctor saying, "We need a nurse to help us. We can't handle this." Anyway, at 36, I lost a lot of friends during Hurricane Katrina. That's just, good Lord, so many people moved, died. It was, Well, that went on for like 2 years. 38, shingles Christmas. I had shingles for Christmas. They say nobody should be alone on Christmas. I say if I'm not in excruciating pain for Christmas, I'm good. 41, I got the news that my sister Des died. That was very painful. The same month was the year my shadow kitten died. My first kitten died in surgery. I took him to get him fixed, and I got the call that said shadow kitten went into cardiac arrest in surgery and could not be saved. Oh. And the last one is Kier. I've discussed this if you watched any of the previous episodes. Is the Kier proposing and botched the wedding, and then say he didn't really want to marry me. Oh, into time. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to go through that quickly, but I'm glad I did it quickly. Now I can go on from there. Now, everybody, if you're watching and keeping up with this, you know the best things and the worst things that have happened to me. That's it. So, what's my phrase? I forgot my phrase. Change is good. Transition is hard. When life feels most complicated is exactly when you should stop and say thank you.